What I think is interesting is the English language surrounding the word church. We refer to the church as a body of believers, as the called out ones, as I talked about before. But we also refer to the church as a building. So I work at the church. That means I go to the building in your town or your community. You recognize, oh, I drove by the church as a building. And what's interesting about that is we get these ideas conflated, that maybe they're the same thing, the building and the community of believers. But we already talked about they're not the same thing. When the Bible talks about church, it never refers to a building, but always a group of people. So, what about a church building? Should we forget about them and start meeting outdoors or in your homes? Well, I don't know that that's a bad idea, but we have a lot of beautiful and amazing church buildings. And I think it's important to take care of those. The Bible has a lot of instructions that God gives about how to build the temple, details about how Noah was to build the ark, details about the services that the Levites were supposed to carry out and how everything was supposed to look and to be organized. So God definitely cares about beauty and about details when it comes to structures. And you imagine Solomon's temple, like that had to be an incredible building. But often when we take the church building and put it as the most important part of our church. Many of you probably have been in building committee or board meetings where all that is talked about is the building. And, oh, what about this expense? And how much is it going to be to change the roof? And I don't really like this carpet anymore. Can we change it already? Or things of this nature. And we lose sight of the reason that the church building exists and the reason that the church members exist. And that is to serve people, to share the love of Jesus, the truth of the Bible, and connect people with God. And when we don't put people first, we can spend a lot of time going around in circles about how we take care of buildings. But I've also seen many churches that are run down or in disrepair or just unclean or disorganized. And I actually think that is a result of not putting people first. Because when we consider people, when we think about our neighbor who might come through the doors of our church to worship with us, or somebody who's visiting, or the members of the church who come every week to connect with God and to fellowship with other people, when we put those people first, then we can't help but consider what will make their experience better. And when we approach decisions about buildings, and each decision in our life and ministry like that, what can benefit people? How is this going to affect human beings? When people are the center, then we have some direction. And when we look at Jesus' life, he always kept people, individuals, at the center of his ministry. So let's try and do the same.